Everyone for joining us tonight for Grad Night, which is focused tonight on pathways to graduate school. We have a number of presenters for you this evening that I think you will find their topics and information quite appealing. So as far as our agenda is concerned, first of all, again, we are going to have a welcome and about us by Dr. Robert Kaiser, who is our Vice Chancellor of the Graduate School. That will be followed by a presentation by myself and Heather Cordner, who is the Director of Student Services, regarding the pathways. And then Mr. Ajit Shaban, who is our Business Manager and Director of Financial Aid, will talk about pathways to affordability. And then we have a student with us tonight, Dejane Lang, soon to be PhD, upon completing dissertation. And Dejane will be talking about her current program and her experience via entering our bachelor's entry component to our PhD in industrial and organizational psychology. And then we will open it up for Q&A at the end so that you may ask direct questions about specific programs. And as always, we have your excellent faculty, staff, and deans here to address those questions directly in the event that there are questions that myself and others of the panel cannot address directly. So with that said, just a few little housekeeping items. We want this to be very informal. We want to be engaging and have an open dialect between yourselves and the administration, faculty, and staff here at Kaiser. We'll be monitoring the chat throughout, so do not hesitate to raise your hand or just speak up. I have Mr. Abraham Johnson here, who will be monitoring the chat for us. And then I have a number of experts, as I mentioned, who will be happy to answer those questions. You do not have to wait till the end of the presentation. You may ask or address your questions as they are real time. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to Dr. Robert Kaiser, our Vice Chancellor of the Graduate School. And many of you have probably seen, heard, or have had a communication or some type of interaction with him over your time following Kaiser University. So Dr. Kaiser.
Thank you, Dr. Franks. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you. Just want to extend my appreciation to you all for being here. To all the prospective students, thank you. We know you're taking time away from your family and potentially your work to be with us this evening. We know your time is valuable, so hopefully you'll get the best value for your time, rather. So Kaiser University began in 1977. It was a mother and son pairing that founded the university. I am fortunate enough, mother and my father. They began with a medical assisting program. That was our first program.
Did Dr. Kaiser?
I'm sorry, I think
cut out. Can anyone hear Dr. Kaiser?
No, I believe he has glitched.
He's going to log back on. Bear with us, everyone. I do want to let all of you know as well, if there are individuals that you think might benefit from this presentation this evening and we're not able to make it live, we are recording the presentation as referenced at the beginning, and we will be sending the presentation out to anyone who has registered, as well as placing it on social media, so that friends, family, yourselves have access to it post presentation. So it looks like Dr. Kaiser has made it back. Do you want to try to
I'm
speak
sorry.
again?
Well, I apologize. Hopefully this will work. I think I failed one of the first items for an online student to make sure you have secure internet connection. So I don't know what just happened there. I'm back. I will try to go as long. I'll make this briefer, but go as long as my internet will hold out. As I was mentioning, we started with one student. Today, we are now over 20,000 students, depending when you take census, really close to 30,000 students during the fall period. We have campuses throughout Florida, 18 campuses in total. We also have international locations. We have a campus in Nicaragua, a campus in Shanghai, China, and we have international education centers in Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, Indonesia, India, Spain, Vietnam, and Sri Lanka. So those are the newest additions to our institutional portfolio. We educate students from the associate to the doctoral level, and obviously you students are aspiring to become either master's or doctoral recipients at the end of your academic journey. As it pertains to the graduate school, we do have a number of accolades. And this is actually, to begin though, I should start with the most important one to us. We are the only institution in the last 5 years to be ranked top 25 in social mobility by U.S. News and World Report each of the last 5 years. In 2023, we were actually the #1 school in the country in social mobility. And what does that mean? That means that we are the institution providing the most return on investment. It's actually a measure of students and their income when they start school and when they leave school post graduation. So that's something we really are proud of as an institution that looks to create practitioners mostly, and then at the graduate level, both practitioners and scholars. We also were ranked last year as having the #2 best PhD in educational leadership, the #3 best online PhD in organizational psychology, #4 best master's degree in psychology. We are consistently ranked highly for nursing, both within the state and across the country. And you can see a number of the accolades here provided. We are a Hispanic serving institution. But most importantly to all the students, and I think this is really what I want to focus on, and I know there'll be a lot of discussion about this, is that we will never treat you as a number. When I went to George Washington University, my student ID was G336428858. The reason I remember that is I put that on every single test. When I went to the cafeteria, which was all too often, I had to utilize my student ID to purchase any type of food or beverage. We will never treat you like a number. We will get to know you on a first name and last name basis. We will probably know a lot about your background. We are not trying to be creepy. What we are trying to do is to get to know you as individuals so we can best support you. Although you are graduate students and you will be are perfectly well-functioning adults and scholars on your own right, graduate school is a journey, and is a journey that's often filled with anxiety and trepidation, and we want to be partners in your journey. So you will work hard, you will earn your grades. There is plenty of rigor within the programs. You will spend nights or mornings up working tirelessly, reading documents. That is part of the graduate experience. But what we want you to know is that you will not do that alone. And to that end, I'm going to put my email address in the chat box so you can reach out to me at any time. I'm happy to schedule a one-on-one. Also, we hold a monthly coffee chat, which is an open forum discussion with me, strictly with students, and it's on a voluntary basis. But you can come, provide your recommendations, provide your feedback to me in an open forum discussion. I would love to get to know all of you, and I know you're going to hear from incredible subject matter experts that I am fortunate to call my colleagues and my family, but please do not hesitate to reach out to me. With that being said, I'm going to turn it back over to you, Dr. Franks, and I apologize for the inconvenience associated with my internet.
Thank you, Dr. Kaiser. We greatly appreciate the time that you took to speak with us this evening. And as Dr. Kaiser mentioned, he is going to put his email in the chat. However, I have also made sure to include emails at the end of the presentation in the event that you would like to connect with any of the presenters this evening. And then, of course, any faculty, or dean, chair, member of the academic team, if you would not mind, feel free to put your communication and contacts in the chat as well, so that everybody has access to those through the end of the presentation. So next up we have myself and Heather discussing for you the pathways to graduate school. We wanted to put together a topic that we thought would be helpful to any student, no matter where they were in their life, career, post-bachelor's degree, that could present some options of where they could get started if they were thinking about graduate school, be it master's or doctoral level. So Heather and I wanted to come up with some pathways that could be conducive depending on your situation. So Heather, if you would not mind introducing yourself.
Hi, good evening, everybody, and thank you all so much for connecting tonight. As Dr. Frank said, I am the Director of Student Career Services, not only here at the graduate school, but also at the online division, which is made up of our Latin division and our undergraduate programming. So I'm glad you guys came because I think this is a good topic, and it's a topic that we regularly talk about to our undergraduate students as they are wrapping up their program. So I hope you guys are able to take away a lot of great things tonight, and hopefully we can clarify a few things for you too on these conversations. So please don't be strangers, and please ask your questions because we really designed this with you guys in mind.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Heather. And you can find me in the graduate admissions office. My name is Dr. Stephanie Franks. I am the Director of Graduate Admissions. And again, if you have questions currently post presentation, you can reach out to myself or my team, and I will provide you with some additional information at the end on how you can connect with a member of my team as well. So we have put together 5 pathways to enter graduate school post bachelor's degree. So anyone who has a conferred bachelor's degree, which means the institution you attended said that you've completed your degree, you've received your degree, and it's conferred with date and time stamp, it means that you have officially graduated with your bachelor's degree. So those pathways, the very first one that we wanted to discuss with you is the traditional pathway. And what I mean by the traditional pathway is that for an individual who has their bachelor's degree conferred, who wants to look at a particular master's degree, I often find that based on data and statistics, the national average for a master's student is 29 years of age. And that number is actually getting higher as we continue to work with more adult learners. And you'll see that that varies across type of institution and also here at Kaiser University. But what traditional means is not just an age or a number, it's typically an individual that is coming right out of their bachelor's program. So they have completed their bachelor's degree and have decided immediately that they don't want any time to lapse between their bachelor's and their master's program. And oftentimes we find that the primary focus of an individual who is traditional in that nature is to focus on degree type and to have all of their academic education completed, sometimes while working, other times while focusing primarily on the degree. These individuals also have different financial needs that Mr. Saban will talk about a little bit later this evening. Then the second type of pathway that you could be considering is your more non-traditional route. And when I say non-traditional, we refer to this in most of higher education as adult learners, in the context that they aren't necessarily considering completing a degree, be it a bachelor's, let alone a master's, without taking some time away, because they feel as if balancing work, family, and obligations is a priority in achieving those degrees. So I don't want a misperception that this only happens from the bachelor's to master's level. It happens from the master's to doctoral level, and it also happens right out of high school, depending on the type of individual and what's going on in their life at the time that they're making this decision, okay? And this is where I mentioned the age difference usually comes into play. At Kaiser University, our average age of a master's or doctoral student is 40. Why is that, you would ask? We are working with a lot of individuals that are balancing other obligations. Typically career changers, someone who may currently be in a career that's looking at other opportunities because they completely want to get out of field. Individuals who are looking for advancement opportunities and they've worked in the industry for a little while and they need some additional training and skills from a career focused perspective, and they choose to find a program that will help advance that particular career. And then individuals who are balancing other obligations, families, childcare resources, someone who's heavily involved in activities outside of work that supplement their learning environment and the things that they do beyond the pursuit of an educational degree. So those are the first two areas that I wanted to focus on based on the bachelor's to master's, keeping in mind that it doesn't stop at master's. We have programs that range from certificates to associate to master's to doctoral and bachelor's in between. So if you have questions, you'll notice here in the next three that we're going to dive into those as well. Heather, would you like to take over for the next one?
And I'd like to point out too, when we talk about traditional and non-traditional, we still face this taboo. I find with our bachelor students that there's this perception that when you're done with your bachelor's, you have to go straight into the workforce. And sometimes that's not always the best path, because for you truly to hit those goals, you do need to look at going into a master's program or a doctoral program to really be able to do that end goal, that dream job that you want to get to. And there's nothing wrong with that. I remember when I graduated from my undergrad, like I was like, all right, I got to go find a job now. But the reality of it was I still needed to go get my master's so that way I could continue on into what I wanted to do. But the pathway that I'm really excited to bring up is one that I don't think we talk about a lot. And I'm very excited that we offer it here at Kaiser University. And that's a baccalaureate entry to a doctorate. Typically, you see that with those who are primary looking to focus on academic research. But what I really enjoy about this, and you'll hear a little bit more of it directly from a student, Miss Dejanay Lang, is such a student that this was the pathway that made sense for her. And I'm going to let her tell you her story later on. But what this means is that, yes, there are some programs that you can go straight into with just your bachelor's, and you work through the master's at the same time. So in this degree pursuit, you will take the master courses, but you will be actively working towards that doctorate without having to pause. And I think that's such a unique pathway. We see it with our industrial and organizational psychology students. So it lets them go straight for that end goal without having to go from a master's to a doctorate. So it is a pathway that just makes it more accessible, a little bit faster, and easier for you to achieve that goal of a doctorate. It makes it, I feel like, a little bit more reachable, but maybe Miss Lang can clarify that on for us when she gets on later on tonight. Dr. Franks?
Absolutely. Thank you, Heather, for the overview. And I will say also that there are three bachelor's entry programs that we currently offer here at Kaiser that are chosen most frequently by students. And that's our PhD in criminal justice and criminology, as well as our PhD in psychology and our PhD in industrial and organizational psychology. And as Heather referenced, you start as a baccalaureate student, and not only do you achieve the PhD, but you can earn the master's along the way. And when I say you can earn the master's along the way, you can also request to be awarded your master's degree based on meeting the criteria and taking the courses that satisfy the degree requirements for the master's in psychology, as well as the master's in criminal justice program. So those are things that you can discuss with your academic lead, and I'm sure they will be more than happy to discuss with you on this call today as well. Our next area is bachelor's to master's for the purpose of licensure. So we talk a lot about programs that have licensure requirements, and we have a number here at Kaiser, specifically our Master of Science in Clinical Mental Health Counseling, which is CACREP accredited, and that is focused on helping to receive licensure and to prepare you for licensure at the end of that program. Our other programs that have licensure are our nursing-based programs that prepare you, like our family nurse practitioner and our women's health program. Again, we have members here from our departments that would gladly be ready and willing to help address some questions. And the purpose for those programs, as you see on the screen, is for licensure. Individuals that are wanting to pursue those programs typically already know what they're looking for, and they're looking for an institution, one that's accredited through CACREP, because accreditation programmatically, along with the institutional accreditation, is basically a sounding board that helps to reinforce that the curriculum is aligned with the expectations for licensure and for licensure pass rates. And then second, they typically know what they're hoping to accomplish from an outcomes perspective. So when we look at the outcomes, their outcome is to become a licensed clinical mental health counselor or licensed in the practice of nursing specialty that they've chosen. Okay. And then our last pathway, and anyone here on the panel or not on the panel that would like to jump in and add anything that I've missed, please do so immediately thereafter, is our accelerated pathway. And this is more applicable to our current alumni of Kaiser University. If you have an associate's degree or pursuing a bachelor's degree with Kaiser University, you can apply for a number of accelerated undergraduate programs where you can achieve your bachelor's. And once you reach the 90 credit mark, complete an application where you begin to take master's level courses before you finish your bachelor's degree. And basically, individuals who typically are hoping to accomplish this are those who are looking at it from a time to completion perspective, and they want to achieve multiple degrees, meanwhile taking less time in order to do so. We have a number of them in our business department as well as our criminal justice department currently, and are working on opportunities to expand and leverage other programs that could be beneficial not only to our alumni, but those outside of Kaiser University. And I do want to go back for one moment to bachelor's entry. Not only is the primary focus for individuals who want to acquire both of those degrees from an academic research perspective, but also individuals that want to shorten their time to completion. So when you look at it from a number of factors, which I'm going to discuss momentarily, it makes a lot more sense, and it will help you determine which pathway ultimately is the best pathway for you. Now, with all of that said, are these the only 5 pathways that individuals have to choose between achieving their graduate level degree? Absolutely not. But this gives you an idea of what the most prioritized pathways are and what we can offer you here at Kaiser University. Do I at this point have anyone on the panel who would like to make comment? Okay. Seeing that there are no additional comments, I'm going to go ahead to the next slide. So what does this mean for you? Most graduate students that are looking to pursue their education are looking for 3 criteria as the primary factors in making a decision about graduate school. And how do I know this? I wrote a dissertation for Kaiser University about impacts to a graduate student's decision to enroll in graduate school, regardless of where you choose to go. No matter which pathway you chose, these are typically the 3 questions that we get from prospective students. And when you're talking with Kaiser University or other institutions of its kind, you want to make sure that you are comparing apples to apples and that you're asking these type of questions along your journey. And those questions are, what is my investment, both gross and net? So what are my out-of-pocket expenses? What am I investing in my education? And does that investment, number 2, achieve the potential outcomes or return on investment that I'm hoping to accomplish? And then 3, how much time is it going to take in order for me to complete that? And what I found in my research is that oftentimes cost is relative to if individuals can complete their program at a time frame that's conducive to their needs and achieve the outcomes that they're hoping to accomplish during that time period. Cost then is the perception of the value. Are you accomplishing the value in what you're investing, and was that investment worth that particular value? And ultimately that's for you to decide. But I thought that was 3 key areas that you might want to be considering, or questions that you might want to ask as you're going through the process of inquiry gathering, information gathering, and also programmatic reviews. Next, I'm going to go ahead and introduce and let Mr. Ajit Shabam introduce himself to all of you. He is our current Director of Financial Aid. Ajit, would you like to go ahead and take over for the next portion?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I'm Ajit. I'm the business manager and director of financial aid for the graduate school. And today, what we wanted to touch on is some of the options for funding for these graduate programs. So, a lot of people coming from their undergraduate degrees, associate bachelor's degree, maybe towards the end of your bachelor degree, you were told that uh, maybe you hit your cap. You've already used the federal funding available to you, and now you had to go find alternative funding towards the end of that degree. So I'm here to tell you, when it comes to your master's degree and moving into graduate school, the federal government opens up a whole new amount of federal funding available to you to utilize in your graduate degrees. That amount is more than enough for what you would need to complete that master's degree and move on into your PhD. So a lot of students who are in masters, PhD degrees, you're maybe working, you have things going on, and this is going to take time away from some of those other responsibilities. You can even borrow some extra on your federal funding so that you get money coming back out to you to help with your living expenses while you're in school, maybe help towards some of those bills, those monthly bills, things like that. So as a graduate student, a lot more in federal funds opens up to you after completing that, bachelor's degree. Another big benefit of moving on into your graduate programs is if you are back in school, some of those loans that you may have taken while you were in your undergraduate studies, but guess what? They now go back into deferment while you're in school, right? So that's in school deferment. So these loans, you don't have to start paying them, that's 6 months out from graduating from that undergraduate degree. So being back in school helps in that regard while you continue your studies towards that master's or PhD degree. Those loans will be in deferment. Okay. Another thing I want to mention is Kaiser University is a military-friendly school. For those of you who are military veterans or are related to military veterans, we are a military-friendly school. We accept all of the VA benefits that you may have or that your spouse or family member may have. That includes the post 9/11, military tuition assistance, dependents, and even the VOC rehab program if you are approved for it. Kaiser University is a yellow ribbon institution, which means if you do hit that military VA cap that they have every 12 months, Yellow Ribbon will kick in to cover the rest of those costs for you. So we are definitely a military Yellow Ribbon institution. Last thing, to help with funds, Kaiser University has our own institutional scholarships available. Some of the main ones are for state government employees, military veterans or military family, allied health scholarships for those of you going into those specialty health degrees. And we do have also a vice chancellor scholarship, which is need-based. We look at each student very specifically. When you have that financial aid conversation with your assigned financial aid officer, we will determine your eligibility at that time. And Dr. Robert Kaiser, who spoke at the beginning of this meeting, he's the one, we'll run it by him. We'll get that approval for you to help reduce some of the out-of-pocket costs that you will incur for this degree. Okay, and that's about it. Last thing I want to mention here is obviously we would give you a full breakdown of the cost of an entire degree. Well, guess what? If you have any classes you maybe took at another institution, or even in your undergraduate studies that may have been higher level, we will look at those to see how many of those classes, how many of those credits may transfer into your new degree. And remember, any class that gets transferred brings down that total out-of-pocket cost to you. It also brings down your time to completion, as Stephanie was referring to earlier. So speed things up, lower your cost, a win-win when it comes to the transfer credit situation. And that's it. Again, I'm Ajit. Any questions? My email will be in the chat as well, and I'm looking forward to working with you. I did want to mention Dr. Robert Kaiser also said something. He said at his previous school, he was known by a number, and we know our students by their names. And not to call anyone out, but I do see Ashley on this meeting, and I immediately, as I saw the name, I'm like, wait a minute, that's a student of ours. So Ashley, nice to meet you, nice to see you. And that's just proof in the pudding. Anytime I see these names, I do know our students. All right. So thank you so much. It's a pleasure to meet all of you.
Excellent. That's a great point, Ajit, and I appreciate you bringing that up because we do know our students by name, and we know them by name because we spend a great deal of time getting to know you, understanding what your needs and expectations are for your graduate education, as well as our undergraduate. We have close to 20,000 students, so it's not just at the graduate school. This is Kaiser as a whole. Our student first philosophy is absolutely something that we stand by, and that is a part of every conversation that we have. So thank you for that feedback and that information, Ajit. I would like to add one more component, and it's a question, Ajit, so I'll let you answer this question. If you would not mind, what is the one misperception that undergraduate students come to a graduate financial aid appointment with that we have talked with them about that they thought might be the case?
Yeah, that's what I mentioned. The biggest issue that undergrad students worry about is having met that cap, having met the limit of what they have available. And they are not aware that getting into grad programs opens up a huge amount of additional federal funding for you. So that's what I talked about early on in my conversation. And that is the biggest item I hear from these coming in undergrad students.
Can you discuss grants in that added to that, please?
The Pell Grant is something students can receive in their undergraduate degree. Unfortunately, when you get into grad school, the Pell Grant does go away. Okay, so you are looking at utilizing the federal loans, but that is where you have a lot more available to you, and even extra that if you want to take some extra to help with those living expenses.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. The second piece that Ajit mentioned about grants is another misperception that we typically hear from individuals who've done their undergraduate studies because they haven't been a graduate student previously. Those who have applied to doctoral programs typically have already gone through their master's, so they understand the funding and the options available to them at the graduate level. So for first-time master's students, we wanted to make sure that we had someone like Ajit here on the call who can explain to you some of the misperceptions as well as some of the opportunities. One scholarship that he didn't mention that I want to reference because I know we have some alum on this call is our alumni scholarship. And we do provide an alumni scholarship to those who graduated from an undergraduate program coming back to a master's and those who are coming back from a master's into a doctoral program. So wanted to make sure you were aware of that. And then we also have some academic continuing student scholarships that you will learn more about once you become a student that Ajit and his team can apply long-term based on your academic progress and how well you're doing in your coursework. And without further ado, the person that you've all been waiting to hear from. I know Ajit and I provided you, along with Heather, some great information. However, we'd love for you to hear it from a student who is literally slated to graduate in 2025. So I would like to introduce you to soon-to-be Dr. Dejanay Lang. Dejanay, would you go ahead and begin to tell us a little bit about yourself and your experience here in Kaiser, as well as a little bit more about your program and your history of work experience?
Of course. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here tonight. I do apologize that my camera is not on. I actually think I possibly might have messed up my laptop while traveling. Actually, funny enough, for work and for school. So I am in the industrial organizational psychology program here at Kaiser. I originally went to FIU for undergrad. There afterwards, I came right into Kaiser. So I've been here and I've got my master along the way. I am slated to graduate in 2025, like Ms. Frank said. Kaiser for me has been an exceptional experience. You know, it's been welcoming. I'm a veteran as well. And Kaiser, you know, is prides, you know, being a veteran and doing all those great things. So my academic advisors have always been outstanding for me. Even I think I heard some of the grants mention the different things. Kaiser has a military scholarship as well that I do have as well. I had since actually I came in. I believe I've always had it. So there are great things that I think students should take heed to, you know, especially since my program is an online program. I got active in some of the extracurricular activities that Kaiser has. So I am the Psi president now. I've sat on the board and worked my way up to president. But I do encourage students, you know, whether online or in person, to take heed to Kaiser's programs. It can be great. I know going to residency for me was a big thing because it was the first time I was able to actually meet people within the program, and that was extremely helpful, you know, starting to make friends and partners that I could actually work with along the way when it came to, you know, school assignments. Because in the IO program, we do work a lot together, sometimes collaboratively on certain group projects. So I encourage you to, you know, meet people that you are going to want to possibly work with or do things with in the field, even especially within my field. You know, networking is powerful, knowing people in the field. I do attend a lot of like our annual conferences. So we have Society of Industrial Organizational Psychology. I've been to some of those actual conferences or APA, and I do encourage students to take heed to that. If you, whatever program you are in, if possible, I know sometimes there could be a financial restraint, but there are also grants that you can actually look up as well to go to some of these conferences if you don't always have the financial backing. I think the important thing is, you know, the networking. The networking piece is key, and Kaiser has been amazing to me since I've came. And you know, I uh, I think one of my first experiences, I've worked with skill source learning partners pretty much the entire time I was at Kaiser. And that opportunity was presented during a research lab for me. So I encourage students to take the extracurricular opportunities outside of the class. That would really be my biggest advice.
Excellent. And I
Dejanay,
wasn't sure if you,
I have a question for you, Dejanay, and this is Abe. I work with
Of,
Heather
of
with our student
yes.
services. How helpful was the option to go from to do the baccalaureate degree to doctoral degree? Did that
The
help make anything more achievable in your dream of becoming a doctor?
Absolutely. For me, I've had to always work and financially put myself through school. So, you know, being able to work, still go in the program, and being able to come straight out. I got it done faster, which means I could get into the workforce quicker as well. Um, People that I graduated with from FIU, they still have another maybe year and a half to go. I know people still in the program, so I'm graduating about a year early than everyone else.
Wow, great.
so that means you're finishing sooner with less debt to be out in the workforce quicker. Is that right?
Yes, that is actually accurate. Yes,
And do you
I'm
mind,
finished.
Dejanay, talking with us a little bit about why you chose Kaiser? What was it about this program and Kaiser that made you choose us?
So Kaiser has more of a consulting framework when it comes to their IO program, which was also something very big to me. I actually got an experience with consulting in undergrad, and I knew that I wanted to consult more so than be just in academia, right? And then so for me, that was a very big piece. And then as well as being able to work really in the programs was huge for me. And because I knew that, you know, a lot of programs that I looked at, especially locally within the state of Florida, I didn't necessarily want to move, but I also knew um, I also knew that I didn't want to move, but I didn't want to kind of cave to some of these other demands from other graduate programs that would have made it unachievable for me personally and my family. So when I sat down with my family and I told them, I wanted to get my doctorate, the first thing they said was, how was I paying for it? The second thing they said was, well, the second thing they were like, well, we don't have the money to, pay for you to just one, up and move, and two, also pay for you to do 4 years in a program. So it was a lot of financial implications, but I also knew that I still wanted to be, I always knew what my output and my goal was, that I wanted to consult ultimately and that it was necessary for me. I now have my own LLC. I now have been consulting for about 7 years. Um, Kaiser has allowed me the floor plan to be able to do that, right? Unlike my counterparts, when you're in some of these other programs, you have to wait until you're fully finished with the doctoral to work and start making some sort of income. And for me, that was substantially out of the game plan. Like most students, especially in today's economy, who can afford to not work? Not all of us have that luxury, and I certainly didn't. And so it was very, very important for me to choose a program that was going to be conducive to my lifestyle and necessary for what I needed, for my family. At the end of the day, I still always wanted I will be the first doctor in my family. So it's very big to be able to still do this and make it achievable, but within the means in the guidelines I needed to work with.
Congratulations, first of all, because I think you're being quite humble, and I'll explain why I'm saying that as well. An individual like yourself, a first gen doctoral student, we often hear a lot about first gen college student. Well, we have many students who are first gen masters, first gen doctoral, and you just very clearly aligned everything that we've talked about tonight with what you had to balance in order to make this happen. And that's where I say you're being humble, because not only were you balancing family and this job and your consulting role with school, but you also became the president of Psi Chi Graduate School. And again, just presented this weekend, from what I'm told, at PSYOP, which is the Society for Industrial and Organizational Psychology Professionals. And you presented on From Awareness to Action, neuro-inclusive hiring practices. So you literally are taking everything that you've learned, not just in your education, but in your career, and now you're applying it to organizations in a conference format where others can learn from you. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. I think one of the big things I encourage students to do is take what you're learning, um, and build your repertoire, while you're in the classes. There's been several conferences or local engagements even I've spoken at. And I think it's very important because it really helps build your resume, as a student, as a speaker in your professional career, but it also shows that you can apply the knowledge, right? The panel I got to sit on was amazing. SHL, Home Depot, so large companies, and so to be able to sit alongside those large companies, it lets you know kind of confirmation that the degree is worth it, it's paying off, you're on the right track.
Absolutely impressive. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule, because we know how much you're balancing, to be here with us tonight. And we are sending you away, wishing you the best on finalizing your dissertation. So thank you so much for being here. Before we close up with Dejanay, does anyone specifically have questions for her?
Thank you.
And Dr. Slifka is saying, great job, very proud of you for presenting. And presenting is a huge, huge deal at
It's
PSYOP,
incredibly
so.
hard to get accepted to that conference. So I know
It
many
is.
practitioners, and I'm not just saying this, that have worked in the field for a very long time, that have submitted multiple things, multiple years, and get nothing accepted. So that's really awesome.
It
Good
is.
job. Sorry, my camera's not on.
No, you're fine. Thank you so much, Dr. Slifka.
Yeah.
This is not the first year that I've been a part of panels that we submitted. I've been going to Actually, I've been going to PsyOp and honestly since I started at Kaiser. And this was the first year I've been accepted. So
It's really
right,
hard to get accepted to it.
it's
Yeah.
really hard to get accepted to speak at Kaiser on those panels. So PsyOp is a huge deal to be on your resume. And so for us, especially within our IO program, it's a big stamp. And I do think, you know, Kaiser prepared me well for it. We do a lot of presentations in our classes. And professors have been great. Honestly, you know, Dr. Whitaker and some of the other professors that I know have attended PsyOp, and um actually, like, we have fellows in our program, right? So
Wow.
some of our, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
my chair and, you know, committee members, some of my committee members and different things, they're fellows at PsyOp. So to have that kind of leadership really sets the tone and precedence. Even when I'm there, I have actually met up, right, with some of them. And so that has been also great to be able to network and meet some of, you know, the professors in person, and at such a large scale, because while we meet them in residency, that's one thing, but in PsyOp, it's almost like our world for IO psychologists, right? You know, it gets no bigger, I think, in our profession than PsyOp every year. And so to come together and do it, yes, Dr. Clifford is right. There's 4,000 people every year attending, and God knows how many people propose.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
For sure.
and
Good
this
job.
just isn't relative to our psychology programs. We have each doctoral and master's program that's aligned with specific organizations, different types of programmatic accreditors, and opportunities for networking and resources for career outcomes. So that's another benefit that you have as you attend an institution that's so student centric and focused on helping with career outcomes. So I'm sure with the questions that we're going to address here momentarily, you'll be able to ask those. So I do again want to thank Dejanay for being with us today, and I will be there to watch you walk across the stage. That's a fact.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Dejanay.
Thank you.
So questions. I know we have a number of students on the call that are in programs outside of the PhD program for IO psychology. What type of questions do you have for our panel of subject matter experts this evening?
Well, hello, my name is Shidon.
Nice to meet you.
Good. I work here in the state as an environmental engineer. I've done my master's in environmental engineering in Germany. So currently working in the state of Georgia here with a renewable energy company. So I believe maybe I've come across this university, but I've been receiving texts. So I say today I'm going to participate. So I don't know whether you have programs related to environmental and sustainability for a PhD program. And two, is there any way someone can have like study and work? That's the I'm actively working as a professional. So is there any way one can match that as a professional, or is it compulsory? You must come full time to do the program with KC University. So that's my question.
So I want to make sure I heard your question accurately. You're
Good.
looking for potentially doctoral programs in
Yes.
global environmental affairs relations. Is that correct?
Anything that has to do with environmental and sustainability, because
Okay.
that's what I'm practicing. Yes.
Okay, great. And then your second question was, are you here as a citizen or you're looking for opportunities for visa?
No, I'm not looking for opportunity for visa. I already have my track, and I'm working. I'm just interested in, I want to upgrade, my studies. I want to, continue my study life to do a graduate program, PhD precisely within my field of specialty
Yeah.
while working.
Yeah, I think your questions are excellent, Chidon, but they are questions that are very in-depth that would require me to ask you a number of personal questions, which I don't want to do on a call of this magnitude that's being recorded. I'd
Okay.
love to have a one-on-one conversation with you.
Good.
Set up
Okay.
a time where we can
Yes.
connect and talk more one-on-one.
All right.
Because those questions are a little bit beyond what I think we have prepared to talk about tonight. And then I
Okay.
want to make sure that we have the right program fit for you, because we have over 50 master's and doctoral programs. But I want to make sure that we have what you're looking for, and that we can align it with your outcomes. How's that sound?
It sounds good. So I will send you my email first right now, right away.
Yes, please. And you're welcome
Okay.
to put it in the chat if you would like. And then I will schedule some time to connect with you one-on-one.
Okay. Let me put it on chat. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. I see Rocky has his hand up. Rocky, go ahead.
Yeah, it's she, but you're all right.
Thank you, Rocky.
So I my situation, you just got done saying that this is like not the place for the personal stuff, but I have a rather unique situation with lived experience, and I really need direction about where I'm going and how to get there. I'm about done with my bachelor's. I have a bunch of other different, educational stuff, but I need help trying to figure out where I'm going, what graduate program I need to do, where I need to do it at, and I mean, personally, I'm on disability, so then comes in the whole, how am I going to pay for it? There's a lot of questions. I think I have the ambition to get where I need to be. I just need a little help trying to figure out where that is that I'm trying to get to, because my situation is pretty unique.
Yeah, so you've come to the right place. Coming to Kaiser, that's precisely what we'll do for you. We literally sit down with a student via telephone and conduct a one-to-one interview. And we really go into depth, Rocky, about your current circumstances, by addressing and understanding what it is that you're hoping to accomplish. And once we understand what you're hoping to accomplish, it helps us give you more guidance in pointing you in the right direction for the most appropriate program for you, and whether or not we believe Kaiser can actually help you achieve that goal. And what I will say about Kaiser, which I believe fully, is if we can't help you achieve that goal and we don't feel that there's an opportunity here, we will make sure that we point you in the right direction. Because what you said at the beginning is really important. You believe you have the ambition, and it's the ambition that you need to start this process. So if you have the ambition and the will, we will be there to be your advocate, to address and answer your questions and help you find the right program fit for you. As far as the finance part is concerned, we actually schedule every single student that we conduct an interview with a dedicated financial aid officer. That individual comes from Mr. Saban's team. Ajit and his team will conduct a very thorough financial aid appointment with you to help you personally understand what you would qualify for if you were to choose XYZ program based on your particular situation and circumstances. So when you leave that conversation with financial aid, you actually know what your funding plan options are, and then you can make a educated decision about whether or not Kaiser is the right fit for you at that time. Does that help? Is that something you feel would be beneficial for us to do a one-on-one?
Absolutely. I mean, would that be with you, or who would that be with?
If you wouldn't mind providing your follow-up information, I'll take your name down as well. And I will have a member of my team reach out to you directly. It would either be with myself or a member of my team. If you have a preference, I'm certainly happy to meet with you, as I feel like we've already bonded.
Okay. I just put my email in the chat, because I'm
Perfect.
very anxious to try to get this going somewhere so that I know what I'm doing and what all I need to do to get where I'm going. Because
We
this
are
is the
very
first time I've
excited.
actually had somebody actually trying to tell me what it is I need to do.
What was your undergrad in, Rocky, if you don't mind? Because we do
Psychology.
have some psychology. Okay. So
And
we
I
have
recently
Dr.
had to
Slipka here.
change it. I had to change it from human services to um general because I couldn't get an internship because of those unique lived experience
Yes,
things.
got it. Well,
Rocky,
not only is my team available to assist you, but I'll let Dr. Slipka comment. They are more than willing to have a conversation with you as well. And if we can't do a deep dive, they can certainly do a deep dive on whether or not it's a good program fit. Dr.
yeah,
Slipka?
yeah. If you want to continue with psychology, if that's something you're interested in, we can absolutely talk. I put my email address
I
in the
have it.
chat, and I can do it again, so it's available. But we do have a master's and a PhD programs in general psychology and industrial organizational psychology. And I'm happy to go over that, what it involves, what it leads to, seeing if it meets your career goals. So if that's something that you're interested in, as like a supplement to talking to Dr. Franks, I'm certainly happy to meet with you about that.
Absolutely. I will
Thank you
make sure
very
I get an
much.
email
All right,
out
I'm
to
going to
you.
go ahead and pop it in the chat, and you can send me an email and we'll set up a time to talk. Sound
Okay,
good?
sounds great.
Okay.
Dr.
Perfect.
Franks,
And I see that Dr. Peluso has a question.
yeah.
Thank you, Gabe.
Oh, thank you so much. I don't have a question. I just wanted to say that as part of our students first approach, where we're really working on what is the best interest for you individually as a student, I wanted to share, we are very inclusive in how we approach your education. And if you do have a disability or another personal challenge for which you need accommodations, we have a very robust process for that. We can engage in conversation with you. We have a whole website dedicated to that. If you just search Kaiser University ADA, you'll find our website. I'll put the URL here for anybody who would be interested. But we're well accustomed to working with students through that documentation process. By federal law, it must be an interactive process with you. So we don't tell you what we're doing for you, to you, we do it with you. And I just wanted to make sure that we mention that.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Dr. Peluso. Abe, I think we have another hand up. Do you want to?
I just wanted to mention, because Dr. Peluso, she mentioned something about pathways to career. And for each of our programs in our Blackboard system, which is like the module of how students get information, how they progress through the program, how they get announcements, we have a special section called Pathways to Career that has memos, that has the Bureau of Labor Statistics Management, and all kinds of tips and organizations to help you get involved in your new career, just like Dejanay did. So I think that's a great asset to our students. Also, we have career help with student services. We go over resumes, and we do a lot of coaching, basically, to help you prepare your best resume and put your best foot forward, so to speak. So I just wanted to interject that for our students.
Thank you. I appreciate that interjection. I think that's very helpful information. And we have a very active student and career services department. So reach out to them. They're more than happy to help. I do see another hand, and I apologize, Tanya. I know you've had your hand up a little while here while we were addressing the prior question, but go ahead. You have the floor.
Yeah, sure. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, hi. My name is Tanya. I joined the call a little bit late only because I do have work tonight. I'm currently in my parking garage. But I was just calling to see if I can receive any more information about the DNAP program for the nurse anesthesia entry into practice program at Kaiser. I have looked online and I have submitted, or I filled out the inquiry form, but I recently realized that I haven't been receiving any notifications because some emails will go to my regular box, then some emails will go to my spam, and it's really difficult to sift through them. So I was just wondering if there's anyone on this call that can speak just briefly on the program as far as like deadlines are concerned, or maybe if I can just receive an email or speak to someone over the phone directly about the program.
Thank you for your question. And just so you're aware, Tanya, we are recording the session. So we will make sure that all the attendees, as well as those who weren't able to attend, will have the opportunity to receive the recording within the next 24 to 48 hours. So you will get to listen to the whole presentation if you would like. The program that you're referencing, the doctorate for nurse anesthesia, is a specialty program along with our clinical mental health counseling and nursing programs. That program specifically is offered at our Naples campus, which actually happens to be about a mile from where I'm sitting right now. Unfortunately, I do not believe that our campus president, Dr. Winslow, or our director of admissions, Sabine, were able to attend this evening based on other time constraints. So what I would like to do, if you would not mind putting your name in the chat with your direct email, and what I will do is I will be sure to send them an email this evening and have them reach out directly to you. And if you could let them know best time to reach back to you, that would be very helpful.
Sure. Do you want me to place the best time in the chat, or once they reach out to me, I can tell them the best time?
Whatever you're most comfortable with.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
You are quite welcome. My apologies that I couldn't give you more insight, but I don't want to speak about a program I don't know enough information about to speak intelligently.
No, of course, I understand.
We have a great
William
question
has a
from,
question.
yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Abe. You can read it. Go for it.
No, William says, do you offer a hybrid program for your PhD in psychology? Also, are your courses self-study or are they offered virtually?
Great question, William. Is Dr. Slifka still on the call? Yes, she is. Would you mind,
I am.
Dr.
I just turned my
Slifka?
camera off for a second. That's crazy around here at night. Sorry about that. So for our campus, for the graduate school, we are fully online. So we have asynchronous classes with weekly synchronous sessions. So it's basically, we have a pace that you follow throughout the 8 weeks of the program, but it's largely remote. One requirement we do have for the PhD programs is you're required to be in person twice throughout your program for what's called doctoral residency, and that's for a few days over the summer when you first begin the program and towards the end before starting your dissertation. And Dr. Franks, I'm not sure if you have any follow-up on that about any on-campus or hybrid options.
Yeah, and we do not currently offer a hybrid version of this program because we can deliver it fully online. And I think what Dr. Slifka mentioned about residency and the peer engagement, and as you heard from Dejanay in her experience, there's a lot of opportunity not only connect with other students in a face-to-face environment, but you also have the opportunity to regularly connect with your faculty and with organizations from a network and collaboration component. What we also recommend is the Kaiser Live. And if you know the difference between synchronous and asynchronous, asynchronous learning is 100% on your own time. You get a syllabi, you log in when you have the appropriate time, place, and you need to meet the requirements of that syllabi. Typically, we ask that you log in by Wednesday of each week. It varies by program, it varies by faculty member, and then you respond to at least 3, again, varies by faculty and program, by the end of the week, which starts on Monday at 12:01 a.m. and ends on Sunday at 11:59 p.m. During that same time period, each faculty member is required to have something called a Kaiser Live. It can be synchronous, depending on specialty or non-specialty. So for example, clinical mental health counseling has a synchronous version. And some of the non-specialty programs do it asynchronously. But you can log on live and you can watch the Kaiser live, interact, engage with your faculty, or you can come back and watch the recording at a time that's most conducive to you. And that really gives you an opportunity to have that real-time engagement every single week. And because it is a requirement, it is in every single course that you take throughout your entire program. And when you get to the dissertation stage, William, you will find that you are engaging with your committee on a more than regular basis as you're building your chapters throughout your dissertation, as you're working on your defenses and doing your research. And then the opportunity at residency is, I think, one of the most valuable experiences as a PhD student. I just graduated with my doctorate in business administration marketing under our business department. And I truly believe that had I not attended residency, I wouldn't have met a lot of the core cohort faculty and students in the class. And the students in my class, I followed through my entire program. So I really was able to make long-lasting relationships with people that were in a similar industry as me and people that were working toward the same goal as me. Meanwhile, still having access to my faculty by Teams, by telephone, by email, by text, extremely responsive group of individuals. And I can say that about every single department here at Kaiser. So hopefully that addressed your question. We do not have the hybrid options currently, in short, but I think there are a lot of reasons why being online could be beneficial as well.
I just wanted to say we also have a ton of workshops, and we currently have a 3-month research and scholarship collaborative that goes over everything to do with dissertation, how to put your research proposal together. So there's so much help along the way, as far as collaboration goes. So.
Excellent. Thank you for adding that. And I know Dr. Farrell even mentioned graduation. You attend graduation live if you choose. So we want you to come to graduation. We want to see you walk across that stage. We want you to see your cohort and others walking across the stage with you. And you have the opportunity to meet and greet and engage with faculty, introduce your family. It's such a special experience. We do that typically, and folks on the call, please correct me if I'm wrong. I know the last graduation was in September, and Abe, I know there's a winter one also. Can you
Correct.
address that?
Correct. So we have our graduation ceremony is in September for the graduate school and online students. But if you don't get to attend that one, you are eligible for the one in January, which is called statewide, which is in the middle of our state. So you're able to attend that as well. And we get people flying in from all over, visitors too, and just making it a whole celebration about you and what you've accomplished. And it's just great to see everyone right at the end. I, of course, don't have to attend, but that's something that we offer to the graduate students.
Yeah, and I believe the student that came the furthest from my graduation was Japan. So it was really exciting to see our global reach and how many international students that we had, as well as domestic students that attended graduation from 48 states. I think they said 48 states and 40 countries.
This
Pretty
last one
significant.
we had 45 states and 11 countries. I mean, every year it's different countries, but that's where we got our population from, and this year is going to be even bigger. So that's great.
Great feedback. And I know we had a couple DCJ and criminal justice students that were on early in the call that wanted to make sure they were on the right conversation, that had some questions. Are you still on the call? Is there something we can address? I do have 2 individuals here from our criminal justice department, and I also have 3 individuals, I think, still here from our business department as well. Right. Dr. Turner, do you want to do a quick plug for your programs?
Sure, I'll make this quick. I don't want to hold up anybody's time. I posted my information in the chat. So we have two master's programs: a master's in criminal justice, a master's in homeland security and emergency management, and then we have two doctoral programs: a PhD in criminal justice and criminology, and a DCJ, which is a doctor of criminal justice. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you.
And Dr. Brown and Dr. Farrell, I know you're still here from the business department. Do you guys want to do a quick plug?
Sure. Good night, everyone, or morning or afternoon, where some students are. My name is Dr. Brown. I am the program coordinator for the Master of Organizational Leadership program, which is completely different to the MBA program. I am not going to be biased and say it is better, but it is actually better. No, I won't do that. My program is a little bit different in the way from an MBA program in the case that, yes, it is business, but this is solely towards leadership. Management is slightly different from leadership. I won't go into that detail right now, but we definitely do not have any of the quantitative courses like accounting, finance, and economics in some sense. This is purely about leadership knowledge, and the foundation of that. For many who would come into this program are people who are focused solely on leadership, or we have executives that are moving to the next level and want some foundation in business. So if you need to talk to me and you need more information, you can contact me. My information is in the chat. Again, nice to meet you all and welcome. And I hope to see some of you in my program. Take care.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. Dr. Farrell?
Welcome.
I'm sorry, my dogs are barking.
That's okay.
Oh my God, they're being naughty. Anyway, I do welcome everybody and hope that you decide to attend Kaiser University if you haven't made that decision yet. I do like to promote the accounting program, and we don't get a lot of opportunity to do that. But accounting is a degree that a lot of people are afraid of, but you shouldn't be. And they're wonderful career paths. And I would encourage you to look at things like the magazines, that the colleges put out about career paths and things like that. And also, you can always visit the aicpa.org, I believe it is, and read all about it. But I'm happy to talk to you too, and also have my information in the chat way back, but I can put it in again. And if you'd like to talk to me, you're welcome to give me a call too. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Farrell. And then I have two individuals, and then we're going to break. I have Dr. Roth on the call for education.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Roth. I'm an instructor in the Department of Education, the Master's and PhD program. We have courses in teaching and learning, and as well as in the PhD, we have instructional design technology and leadership and curriculum and instruction. We have a tremendous staff of professionals with different expertise, very, very stable. We've been together a long time. I welcome anyone who wants degrees in master's and PhD to come join us, as well as the EDD program, which is recently begun, and tremendous reception from the public and enrollment. Please don't hesitate to contact me. I'll put my information down here again, and you can give me a call. Let's talk about joining us in education. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Roth. And I think we have still Dr. Judy Jean on the call for our doctorate in health sciences.
Yes, hello everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. I am Dr. Judy Jean. I'm the academic program coordinator for the Doctor of Health Science program within the graduate school here at Kaiser University. My program supports leadership within hospitals, healthcare facilities, health organizations, supporting specific populations, community health, disease prevention, population health. And so I look forward to getting any, questions and to support your
interest. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Judy Jane. I have put on the screen for you, which you'll receive in the recording. But if you ever want to connect with Kaiser University for any additional questions, I'm going to personally make sure that those who ask questions this evening, we make direct connection with you here in the next couple days. You'll be hearing from me and my team, as well as members of the Kaiser faculty that you asked to reach out to you directly. But here's our contact information for your reference so that you have it. And then lastly, I want to thank all of you for being with us. I have listed each of the presenters this evening and the contact information available for them here if you have any specific questions that you'd like to address personally. But again, I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you to our subject matter experts for being part of our panel, as well as part of our gallery to address student questions tonight. And most importantly, thank you to those who have taken the time this evening to talk about Kaiser University. All of you have a great night, and we hope to talk with you soon. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Good night.
Thank you very much. Have a good